Before we get into the biggest news regarding the Browns today, you need to know this, as recent developments could completely shift the landscape of the quarterback battle. New reports are challenging many of the circulating rumors, while fresh information on the team's current situation raises even more questions about what might happen before Week 1. There are encouraging signs and serious concerns. Together, they paint a picture very different from what most fans expected just a short while ago. Let's break down everything that's happening and see why this could be one of the most important storylines to follow heading into the season. But first, hit the like button, subscribe, and let us know what else we can expect this season. Let's go! The latest developments surrounding Shedeur Sanders have completely shifted the conversation around the Cleveland Browns quarterback competition. And the biggest takeaway right now is that the trade rumors simply do not match what is happening inside the organization. According to NFL insider James Palmer, the Browns have no intention of trading Shedeur Sanders, and that statement carries a lot of weight considering all the speculation that has surrounded him in recent weeks. Even more encouraging for Browns fans is the report that Sanders has been making real progress behind the scenes. His pocket presence has improved, he is working through his progressions more effectively, and the coaching staff is seeing growth in the exact areas that every young quarterback must develop to succeed in the NFL. His accuracy has never really been the concern when he is playing confidently, but now the focus is on becoming a complete quarterback, and the latest reports suggest he is closing that gap faster than many expected. Just as important as his development on the field is what has reportedly been happening away from it. Palmer made it clear that Sanders has not caused any problems behind the scenes. For a rookie quarterback dealing with enormous expectations and constant media attention, that is significant. Instead of creating distractions or showing frustration, everything indicates that he has handled the competition professionally. Whether he is eventually named the starter or begins the season as the backup, the organization appears comfortable with the way he has approached the entire process. That maturity could end up becoming one of the biggest reasons the Browns remain committed to keeping him on the roster. The trade speculation also becomes difficult to understand when looking at the quarterback room itself. If the Browns believe Sanders is improving every week and fits what offensive coordinator Todd Monken wants to build, moving him now would make very little football sense. Reports discussed in the transcript suggest that Monken likes both Deshaun Watson and Shedeur Sanders, believing each can win games within his system. That naturally raises questions about the rest of the depth chart and reinforces why Sanders is viewed as an important piece for this season rather than someone the Browns are actively trying to move. The debate then shifts toward the biggest question every Browns fan is asking: who should actually start? There are two completely different philosophies. One argument says it is easier to begin the season with Deshaun Watson and make a change to Sanders later if necessary. Supporters of that idea believe the veteran deserves the opportunity to prove he can return to his previous level before turning the offense over to a younger quarterback. If Watson struggles, the transition to Sanders would be relatively straightforward. The other viewpoint is becoming increasingly difficult to ignore. If the quarterback competition is close, why not give the opportunity to the younger player who could potentially be part of the franchise's future? Watson's long-term future with Cleveland remains uncertain, while Sanders still has the chance to establish himself as the organization's quarterback moving forward. Evaluating him now could provide valuable answers before future roster decisions become even more complicated. Waiting too long could leave the Browns entering another offseason without knowing exactly what they have at the most important position in football. At the same time, there is another reality that cannot be overlooked. The Browns invested enormous financial resources and multiple first-round draft picks to acquire Watson. Regardless of how fans feel today, that investment naturally creates pressure to see if there is still something left to recover from the former Pro Bowl quarterback. That is why this competition remains one of the most fascinating storylines heading toward the season. What makes the situation even more interesting is that reports indicate Sanders has significantly narrowed the gap during the off-season. Earlier evaluations suggested Watson held a comfortable advantage, but recent updates point toward Sanders making meaningful progress. The race may be much closer than many originally believed, and that could completely change the Browns' decision before Week 1 arrives. With Sanders continuing to improve, the Browns refusing to entertain trade discussions, and the quarterback battle becoming tighter every week, one question now stands above everything else. If you were making the final decision today, would you trust the veteran experience of Deshaun Watson, or would you hand the offense to Shedeur Sanders and begin building toward the future? Continuing directly from Part 1 and completing the story to reach the requested total length, using only the information from your uploaded transcript. That uncertainty becomes even greater once the conversation turns to Deshaun Watson himself, because the latest updates include both encouraging and concerning news. On one hand, there is still belief within the organization that offensive coordinator Todd Monken could create a system that allows Watson to perform much closer to the quarterback Cleveland originally expected when they acquired him. Monken's offensive philosophy is viewed as giving quarterbacks more freedom compared to previous approaches, and that flexibility could benefit not only Watson, but also Shedeur Sanders. Sanders spent his college career operating in an offense that differed significantly from a traditional NFL system, so a scheme that allows him to play more naturally could accelerate his development if and when he takes meaningful snaps. However, the optimism surrounding Watson is immediately balanced by another report that has Browns fans paying close attention. Mary Kay Cabot observed that Watson's arm appeared to lose some strength as off-season work progressed, suggesting that his surgically repaired shoulder may simply need additional rest. Even if that observation proves to be temporary, it naturally raises concern, because the shoulder has already played such a significant role in recent seasons. The Browns have not even reached the stage of full-contact football, and any discussion involving fatigue in that shoulder is enough to create questions about how it will respond once the intensity of training camp and the regular season begins. That is exactly why this quarterback competition remains so difficult to predict. Watson recently expressed confidence that he finally feels like himself again, explaining that he is healthy and prepared to play a full season after dealing with injuries that have limited him since 2023. From his perspective, he has finally overcome those physical setbacks and is ready to return to the field at full strength. But the latest observation regarding his shoulder creates a very different discussion. Browns fans have already experienced seasons interrupted by injuries, making it understandable that even a small concern immediately becomes a major storyline. If those shoulder concerns disappear, Watson could still open the season as Cleveland's starting quarterback. But if they continue throughout training camp, while Sanders keeps improving at the pace currently being reported, the balance of the competition could change dramatically. Every practice, every preseason opportunity, and every evaluation suddenly carries more importance because the gap between the two quarterbacks may not be nearly as wide as many assumed just a few weeks ago. Another important development offers at least one positive piece of financial news for the Browns. According to the report discussed in the transcript, the organization is expected to receive approximately $8 million in salary cap relief through the insurance protection attached to Watson's contract for games missed during the 2023, 2024, and 2025 seasons. While that figure is lower than some early projections suggested, it is still considerably more meaningful than other estimates that circulated previously. No amount of cap relief completely changes the overall investment Cleveland made, but recovering a portion of those costs does provide some flexibility moving forward. Taken together, these updates paint a fascinating picture of where the Browns stand entering the next phase of the offseason. Shedeur Sanders is improving, earning positive reviews, handling himself professionally, and reportedly remains firmly in the organization's plans, despite outside trade speculation. Watson insists he is healthy and determined to reclaim his place, yet fresh concerns surrounding his shoulder continue to fuel debate about how long he can stay on the field. Meanwhile, the Browns appear prepared for every possible outcome, knowing that both quarterbacks may ultimately play meaningful football during the season. What happens next will likely be decided not by headlines or rumors, but by performance. If Sanders continues closing the gap, the coaching staff will eventually have to determine whether experience outweighs long-term potential. If Watson proves his shoulder is no longer an issue and delivers the level of play Cleveland has been waiting to see, he could hold on to the job. Either way, this battle is far from over, and every report from training camp will become even more important as Week 1 approaches. What do you think the Browns should do? Should they stay committed to the veteran and hope Watson finally delivers the season everyone has been waiting for? Or is it time to let Shedeur Sanders take control of the offense and begin a new chapter for the franchise? Share your thoughts in the comments below. If you enjoyed this update, make sure to subscribe to the channel, leave a like on the video, and don't forget to click the video that's on your screen next. That's where you'll always find the latest Cleveland Browns news first, and you won't want to miss what's coming next.